Desiree, how are you this evening?
I'm great, Jeff. Great to see you. Great to see everyone. Welcome to our call. Please make sure your lines are muted. On.
Week number 10.
What's that?
Is this week number 10?
This is week number 10. The topic is knowing, trusting, and believing.
All right, well, if you'll go ahead and edify me, I'll go ahead and start.
Okay. Pull it up. Okay, welcome everyone to our call. Again, the topic tonight, we're on week 10, knowing, trusting, and believing. Jeffrey Combs is a renowned author, speaker, and success coach and addiction coach who specializes in separating feelings from past events in a process called letting go. Jeff started his business Golden Mastermind Seminars 23 years ago in 1998, and since then has coached over 14,000 clients and 70,000 one-on-one hours. Jeff has published 5 books, including a #1 on Amazon's best-selling list, and has been featured on social media publications, magazines, radio, Fox, ABC, CBS, and Lifetime. Jeff is available for one-on-one coaching as well as keynote speeches, podcast Zooms, and Facebook Lives. Jeff, thank you for being here tonight. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Desiree. You and I have a long history going back to 2011. So we're going on, what is that, 11 years? That's 11 years. So I was your coach early in that career, and you have rehired me this last year. And it's my privilege and pleasure to be here with you on week number 10 of this live Zoom call. And it's really awesome to reconnect with your team, the group. And I've had the opportunity to speak to some people I haven't spoken to outside of this Zoom for the last few weeks. So it's been really, really awesome for me to be part of this great community that you have built. So tonight's Zoom Live is going to be covering trusting, knowing, and believing. Now, all of those words, all 3 of those words, there's some similarities and distinctions on those words. So the word know, when you're in the know, when you know, there is no doubt. When you're trusting, you trust your feelings and you know. So when you know, you know. And when you're trusting, and then belief is a sense of certainty. So when you bring these 3 words together, what they create is consciousness. So those are some of the main words that will begin to form the definition of consciousness. Consciousness is an elevated state of understanding, knowing, believing, trusting, being in the now, and not being in anxiety, fear, and doubt. The thief of most people's dreams is anchored in events from the past that create anxiety, fear, and doubt. And there's a payoff that people receive by being in these feelings of anger, hate, resentment, guilt, shame, abandonment, rejection, overwhelmed feelings, grief, apathy, and pride. Those are the main emotions that create anxiety, fear, and doubt. And for you to be able to let go, that's the separation from the feelings, from the events that shape them. I've coached 12 hours today, and most of that coaching was assisting people understand the cause that creates the effect of why they do what they do, and then the technique and skill set of letting go so that you can be in the flow, you can be in prosperity, so you can be in production so that you're creating results, not procrastinating and avoiding. Most of the world spends a great deal of their time avoiding their success, avoiding an outcome they have anxiety about. And if this is you, tonight's a great time to really address this. And so this year is not a training year. This is a year of production, a year of results, a year of rank advance, a year where you begin to attract your reality, people who can produce. You begin to become a much more productive person in a relaxed body in all areas of your life. And you begin to move out of less overwhelmed and more production, less overwhelmed and more results, less overwhelmed and more peace. But if you spend a lot of your life in anxiety, fear, and doubt, well, there's a payoff that you get from that. You get to avoid success, you get to avoid being your best self, you end up living in liability debt, you end up feeling not good enough, not worthy. And then if you do a lot of training and reading and listening, those are all great components. But if you're missing the action, if you have all these other components that you're doing and you feel the power when you're on a training or when you're on the Zoom, or you go to an event, you really feel that. And you feel that motivation, but you come home Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, or right after that Zoom you just watched, you're flat. Well, there's a reason, because underneath that all, you don't believe that you're good enough. It's not the company, it's not the products, it's not the service, is that you doubt yourself. And in that doubt, you have anxiety about the future that hasn't happened. It's common. And what you do to address that is you accept that. You accept that this is where I am right here, right now. You stop looking back at the past of the mistakes and criticizing yourself. You start focusing on why you do what you do, and you begin the separation of them. And what's going to resolve the situation is production and results. If you want to create more money, it's not going to come from your parents. It's not going to, I mean, it might come from the government short term, but if you want to create long-term residual income, if you want to rank advance, it's going to come from the skills, the habits, and the mindset. But if you don't believe you're good enough, that's a mixed message. That's where most of society is like this. Hi, my name is Jeff. Don't join me. I'm not good enough. Hi, I'd really like to explain to you our pay plan, our products, our services, our benefits and feature. I'm just going to talk over you and try and seduce you into joining me, because I really don't believe that our system is simple enough that you will see it. This is what many people do, is they try and control the outcome that has not happened. And one of the ways that many people control that is by avoiding success. They fear failure, but they avoid success, and they fear failing, yet the outcome is they fail to engage, they fail to move forward, and they stay in what is called a trauma bond. I assist people with this 7 days a week. I just finished a coaching call with a woman, quality woman. I've known her for many years. She's in a very, very traumatic marriage with the husband's wife is a narcissist, and it's a no-win situation. And she's just stuck in this. She's gained 30, 40 pounds in the last 2 years in her head, don't know what to do, lost her belief, lost her trust, and doesn't know what to do. And so this is my second hour in coaching her, and she brought this to me. She didn't tell me this in the first hour because she felt too embarrassed. I mean, once again, this is common. This is what I do 7 days a week, assist people understand that you're not a freak. It's not your fault. It's your responsibility. I mean, there's events that happen, but you have to start to own your feelings in it. And so my objective with this woman is, first of all, to assist her to rebuild her belief. That's her self-esteem. Self-esteem means good enough. And self-esteem means regard for self. Many people deflect from owning their self-esteem by putting their energy toward others. And they tend to enable, over-obligate, overwhelm themselves, engage with others, do more for others than they do for themselves. And they focus on everyone else, and they pay it forward, they pay it backwards, they pay it sideways, this way, but they don't focus on what's right in front of them, results. And you're in a results-based business, and you're not there to help people, you're there to lead by example. Help is the Red Cross and the Salvation Army. So if you're on a baseball team, you're not there to help the team, you're there as a role player, and you're there to do your part. And if you're going to build a team, you're there to empower people. You lead by example. You become a leader grower, and you'll mentor a few people that deserve your time. And this is all part of the evolution of the process. And if you haven't been a business owner, that's understandable. You have plenty of time to master the skills, the habits, the mindset, and most importantly, the emotions. So I'm a let go coach. That's what I specialize in. 24 years ago, when I started my business, I focused on prospecting, selling, closing, lead generation. In the first few years of my career, that's what I focused on. And I'm a world-class closer. I teach closing skills. I'm very skilled at it, but that was very one-dimensional for me. The more I understood that it's not that people can't close, it's that they don't believe they can close. I mean, anyone can teach the mechanics of closing. You can teach the mechanics, and you can be mechanical in your closing, but if you don't feel good enough, then you're in a mixed message, and you're virtually sending a signal that says, please don't buy from me, fulfill my feelings of disappointment by not buying from me, and go ahead and tell me you'll get back to me, and don't get back to me, and then I'll turn it into you ghosted me. Well, prospects don't ghost you, prospects lie to you. I did a 20-minute call with a woman Saturday night. She goes, I promise. The minute she said, I promise, I knew what it meant. I promise I'll get back to you. Well, I'm a professional, so I knew what it meant, and I never heard from her. She didn't ghost me. She didn't get back to me. I didn't give her any more power than it merits. It doesn't merit any more power, and this does not merit a follow-up. I mean, she had all the facts right there. She could hire me. She decided not to. Cool with me. And that means some will, some won't. So what? There's other people waiting. But if you are stuck, and you see what's Vicky saying, please don't buy from me. That's right. So that's the mixed message. Vicky, repost that if you can. I want to read that. That was really good. But that's the mixed message. A lot of people, it's like this. Please don't buy from me because I'm not good enough. So that's a very common mixed message in all forms of selling, coaching, branding, speaking. It's the mixed message. So I people go out and see so many people, they become certified life coaches and certified coaches, and they get certifications, and the education, the information is exceptional in a lot of the educational platforms that people get certified in, but that doesn't certify you to have belief. That doesn't certify you to be good enough. Good enough doesn't come from a certification. Good enough comes from yourself, and only you can give yourself permission. Other people will compliment you and tell you how awesome you are, how much talent you have, how much potential you have. Unfortunately, the graveyard is filled with people who have talent, and the graveyard is filled with people who had potential. And these people tiptoed quietly through life, arrived at their grave safely, and then they lived the greatest pain, the pain of regret. I posted a post today and showed a high school football picture of me as a junior in high school. My best friend in life called me today. His name is Terry. His name is Terry Baldwin. Terry and I played two baseball leagues a summer from the time we were in the 8th grade and the 9th grade. He and I played high school football, high school basketball, track and field. We played 4 sports. I posted a picture of him. Terry and I promised ourselves that we would not die in the graveyard. We would not die with unrealized potential. Terry went on to be a top tier accountant in a top 5 accounting firm. He worked on the Enron project back in the 90s. He was one of the lead accountants in that. He got a master's degree from Southeast Missouri State University. He grew up with 6 kids. His mother owned a restaurant. His father died. He did not have unrealized potential. I used to lay under the stars in the hay fields of Southwest Iowa. Me and him used to promise ourselves we're going to get college degrees. We're going to be millionaires. And now he did it through a job, and I did it through owning a business. But I lost my way for 14 years. I found myself when I got clean and sober at 31, and I rededicated myself. Your business requires dedication and commitment. You can add those 2 words to trust, believe, and knowing. So what is trusting? Trust means you trust your feelings. So this is your right brain back here. This is called right here. This is your right brain. Your left brain is over here. This is the neocortex. Right back here in your right brain, there's a little place called the amygdala. It's back there. And your amygdala is also what connects to what's right here, down here in your gut. So then there's a nerve called the vagus nerve. It goes from back here, goes down your back, and connects underneath your gut, hence the term gut feeling. Now, if you grew up in trauma bonds, panic patterns, and anxiety, fear, and doubt, and you're in fight or flight a lot like this, it means your body is reacting to stimulus. I teach my clients how to respond to the stimulus. So it's a stimulus response versus stimulus react. Reacting is fight or flight. The thought of prospecting, the thought of picking up the telephone, the thought of writing content, the thought of putting myself out there. Putting myself out there, where is that? Is that outland? Is it the outfield? Is it center field? Is it the bleachers? Where is out there? Is it Yankee Stadium? Is it Fenway Park? No, out there is a mythical place that people who are addicted to a set of feelings create to avoid production. And it's classic that so many people spend more time avoiding production than they do producing. And if that is you, don't feel bad about it. Do something about it. Honor yourself by being honest. And so what you require tonight, if you haven't grasped it, is that you believe in yourself. Desiree believes in you. Lori believes in you. Vicky believes in you. Alexis believes in you. Tara believes in you. CG believes in you. They believe in you. I believe in you because I fucking know you can be it. It's not do it. I know you can. I did it. I was in a wheelchair in a heroin clinic when I was 31 years old. And I was hopeless at that point. I was on Demerol. I was getting shot up in my veins with Demerol because I had what was called delirium tremens. I was having alcoholic seizures. I came from that. I coach a woman who makes over $100,000 a month in her specific business, who at 22 years old was under a bridge in Santa Rosa, California, a heroin addict. Now, these are like overblown stories that you don't have to do this. What's required of you is right here tonight is number one, believe in self. That's you. It's not a how do I do that? No, it's not how do I. I mean, this woman asked me this today. She asked me like 6 back to back. How do I? Like the chatty Kathy. How do? And I just said, stop. You have to stop. You have to let go. She was making it so difficult that I couldn't coach her. She was setting me up to disappoint her. Now, I was able to talk her off the ledge and bring her back down into her body. And she started to focus on the one day at a time. How do you have belief in yourself? It's too complicated, or it's too simple to say, just do it. That's not the Nike way. And so there's more to it than it's believing yourself is a process. It means that you accept yourself first. You accept where you are. If you can't accept where you are, then you're in denial. And that's where many people are. Well, I shouldn't be here. I should be further along. Actually, that's not correct. And if you have a series of fuck ups, failures, and other situations that you've been through, own them. I mean, I was the poster boy for success in high school, and I became the poster boy for rock bottom 14 years later. And I had to own that I had done these things to myself and others. It's called making amends. It's step number 4, 5, and 6 of any 12-step programs, where you start to make amends. You start to forgive yourself and others. You start to own your feelings. You start to be clear with yourself. You start to understand why you do what you do. You practice sobriety, emotional sobriety, one day at a time. And it starts with believing in self. It means sense of certainty. Go back to Robin's content from 1988, Awaken the Giant Within, chapter 4. It's called The Power of Belief. Right here, here's a great book for you. The Spontaneous Healing of Belief by the great Greg Braden. For those of you who follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I know some of you have been to his advanced courses, Dispenza shares the stage with Braden. Braden was first featured for me. I found him in a downloadable product called The Esoteric Agenda. I started watching clips of him, and that's when I started following him in 2010. That's an older book that Hay House published, but it breaks down what a belief is. A belief is a sense of certainty or a sense of uncertainty. So you're in your doubts, you're uncertain in your faith, in your consciousness, in your spirituality, in your metaphysical life, in your truth, in your trust, being a Christian, being whatever your faith is, whatever religion, whatever spirituality you follow. There are times when you believe in it, when you're sitting in church and you're feeling it. I mean, you're in it. That's faith. And that's faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. It says so in the Bible. So that faith, you experience it at times. But when you go in and out of faith, that's a mixed message. That's called doubt. And that's one of the most common places that good people with intentions find themselves. They have a good intention, but a poor delivery. And an intention is not a commitment. Many people confuse this. What's your intention? Well, there's no intention in my world. It's either you commit or you don't. Now, I believe that life is not black and white. I believe it's gray. But if you're not committed, then you're interested. And you cannot convey the value of this service. You can't convey that this company can change your life. Also, you don't have to be successful to convey that you're in the process of it. So many people that come from this place, I haven't, so I can't. I haven't rank advanced, so I can't expect anyone else to. I haven't done this, so I can't. So once again, in the gray world of life, this is black and white. And so commitment is belief. Commitment is trust. Commitment is no. Until you actually know you can be that person, until you know you can achieve $100,000 in a month, and it's there, the proof is everywhere around you. There are women in your culture. There are men and women. I knew Jimmy Smith when he was in another company in 1999. I watched him start Isogenics in 2002. There was a woman in his team named Deborah Kay. I was her coach. Deborah Kay enrolled Susan Sly. I watched the whole transformation happen. I spoke for Jimmy Smith in 2006 in Pennsylvania, where he lives. and watched the whole transition happen. I watched Susan, I watched Jimmy, I watched Kathy, I watched the daughters, I watched the whole family, I watched it happen. I coached them. I watched Coach Grace, one of his other daughters. I watched this whole phenomenon happen with the 9-day cleanse, and they believed in that cleanse. And so your products are so much more advanced than they were in 2006. I started coaching isogenics distributors in 2003 and 4, and I've watched the whole company transform to the new products you have in 2021 and 2022. I mean, there's so much available for you, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't have cause, meaning, and purpose. If you don't have a purpose to succeed, then you're just, I'm interested. You know, why do I want to do this business? Oh, someone said I should want to help others. That's what I want to do. I want to help. No, dude, you want to live the good life. That's what you're in this business for. You're in this business to lead by example and be an example of what it means to live the good life. It means that you overcome your anxieties, your fear and doubts. You're able to convey that. You're able to distribute that to other people and say, this is where I started, this is where I'm going, and this is where you can do this too, but you got to get on this belief wagon. See, if you're over here in the interest wagon, then all the interested people are over here going, wow, this looks interesting. And these are people that they say they're going to get back to you. These are the interested lost souls. And until you're committed, they're not going to buy from you until you're committed. Because if you're interested, you're conveyed, well, I'm interested. Let's just have a good old fashioned chat and be interesting. And then that's what many people do, is they talk about interest and they don't talk about commitment. Commitment is trust. You trust your feelings. You trust your mentors. You trust the universe. The universe will deliver if you do your part. And the universe has your back when you're focused on creating the results and living the solution. But the universe does not deliver when you're interested. So then that's what many people do, is they have good old fashioned chats and they're interested. They're not focused. Focus isn't hocus pocus. I'm in focus. It's not Butch and Sundance. It's laws of the sun. But no, it's focus means you know who you are. That's belief. You know that you're going to rank advance. You're going to be a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and you set a date and you really mean it because you're committed. You believe it. And so you believe that. I mean, I was $100,000 a month income earner in this industry. I'm not a poser. I'm not a coach who goes, I think I'll be a coach. No, I learned how to coach by building a business. I mean, I became a $100,000 income earner after 8 years of going through some ups and downs. And I didn't believe in myself. I didn't want to wear this pin that Herbalife gave me. Herbalife wanted me to wear a pin that said, lose weight now, ask me how. I said, I am not putting that pin in my shirt. I don't want a hole in my shirt. I mean, my ego was bigger than my bank account at that time. But I was not an overnight success, but I started to create belief along the way. I lost my belief a couple of times. I actually had to go back and wait tables. It was such a humbling experience. I found my belief really quick and I said, I am not going out like this. I'm not going to be a broke dick waiter and a commissioned salesperson selling wholesale food for Cisco. I have to find a company where I can get back in the game. And that happened. I became a #1 income earner company. Company went out of business. I lost my belief again. I mean, I fucking lost it. I had to spend 6 months reading Robert Ludlum. I put all my books down. I spent 6 months at the pool and snow skiing. I went from the summer to winter, snow skiing, and I had to get back in the game. I had lost my belief. I lost it. So it happens to some of the best people. I mean, it did. I mean, I was like, WTF, how am I going to be a millionaire selling wholesale food for Psycho, not Cisco, Psycho, that's what I called it. I had a beeper and I had a laptop back then. I didn't have a cell phone. And I was reading Robert Ludlum. I put down Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I lost my belief. I understand what it's like, but I found my way back because I got humbled going back and getting a job. I had promised myself I was going to be a millionaire by 35. Well, I was 37. So I was already 2 years behind. Pennies in my pocket, zero in my bank account, creditors calling. That's a quote from the great Jim Rohn. I found my belief again. I found my sense of certainty. I answered an ad in USA Today in December of 1996, and it was like a rocket in my pocket. I saw this company, this startup company. I'm like, whoa, I can do this. I can do this. It was $100,000 in credit card. People said, how did you focus with $100,000 in credit card debt? Well, I had run out of options. So I had no credit. I was in the NFL club in 3 categories: no funds left, no friends left, and not for long. I had two options, either succeed in this business or I go back and get two jobs. And I decided to quit both jobs and go full-time. And I did. I went full-time, and within 12 months, I had a 6-figure month. And I watched Alexis do this. I watched Alexis. I started coaching her in 2011. She hired me in June of 2011. I watched the breakthrough, the transition. Desiree was there. Vicky was there for part of it. I watched it happen. I watched it. She contacted me in July of 2013. She was, oh my God, Jeff, I just had this 5-figure check. It's surreal. I go, no, it's real. It's not surreal. It is real. I mean, she practically broke the bank on that one bonus check. It was amazing. I watched it happen. I participated in it, and you can do it too. But it comes from this belief, sense of certainty. Trust your feelings, your innate feelings, your limbic brain, your gut. You have to stay in here, not up here in fight or flight. You have to access the energy and trust, belief, and then knowing. Knowing is consciousness. It means you understand, you know, you're aware. You're not in this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Why do these people do this? They do this because they do it. It's your responsibility to let go of making sense and believe in yourself, believe in the company, believe in the system, believe in the plan, trust your feelings, and most importantly, know. KNOW. Live in the know, live in the now. And we have 2 more weeks left of our 12-week Zoom. So if any of this content reached you tonight and you want to reach out to me, I have a I put together a package for you. I put together a 24-hour coaching package. 24 hours. That means 1 year of coaching. Alexis used to say, I remembered this at a conversation with Alexis last week. It was awesome. Alexis used to say, don't even hire. This was in New Jersey. And I watched Jersey Boys last night specifically for this call, Vicky. So those of you who are from New Jersey, I watched Clint Eastwood Jersey Boy, which incidentally is one of my favorite Broadway shows. I've seen it several times, and I watched the movie last night. So I listened to Sherry, I listened to Big Girls, I listened to all the Jersey songs. I mean, I love that. So, I mean, I got my Jersey on last night, so I put together a 24-hour package for anyone on tonight's Facebook Live who wants to contact me. You can send me a message on Facebook Messenger, and I'll give you the content on that. So that's right, Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. I'm a huge fan. Thank you very much, everyone. Desiree, I'm going to pass the call back to you. It's been my privilege and pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Jeff, thank you. This was awesome. The chat is blowing up. This was so on point tonight. I think everybody.
What do they? I don't see. I never see the chat. What do they say?
Oh, okay. Just great content. Thank you. Love it. Thank you much. Thank you so much, Jeff. So good. You killed it tonight, Jeff. Some funny things about, what you said, like broke dicks. Jeff, I love how candid you are.
I occasionally slip. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's a term that, like you said, we'll probably take it to our grave.
Desiree, you know what happened to me? My friend called me, my friend Terry Baldwin. And I mean, I used to do, I can be candid with you, correct?
Of course.
All right. I used to do LSD with him. I did every drug with this guy, and I played every sport you could possibly play. We played varsity sports. We played college sports together for 1 year, but I also did a lot of drugs with him, and he got clean and sober. I went to Foghat with him. I went to the Eagles with him. I went to REO Speedwagon in the 70s. And he and I were just talking about our life today. And it just touched me so much that he and I have known each other since the 3rd grade. And he reached out to me and he and I were just crying about the good old times and what it was like to play sports together. I mean, he and I met Bruce Jenner together when he was Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner was a high jumper at a college in Iowa. We met Steve Prefontaine together. We went to so many sporting events together, and he and I just had this bond, and I just felt it today. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go into the zone today. I mean, just talking to him now I'm inspired, I live inspired, but I mean, I just felt so much juice from all the things I've been through with him. I baled thousands of bales of hay with him, thousands. We put up thousands of bales of hay. I mean, we were in this millionaire farmer we used to work for. He had a crop circle that we believed a UFO had been in. And we saw that nothing would grow in the alfalfa. I went through so many experiences with him. I saw so many sporting events, professional sports, and for him to call me today, it was a sign to me. It was like, next level for me. So that's what inspired me to break out some of the old terms and words I haven't used in a long time.
Well, thank you for sharing and being candid, Jeff. And I'm glad that that call inspired you, and you have a lot of history with that person that you could tell with your emotion. So that's awesome that you guys reconnected today.
Thank you for all the kind comments. I appreciate all of you. Have a great evening, everyone. If you want to contact me, send me a message. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Great seeing everybody.
Nice.